Welcome to Lineups and Lures, where the talk runs from the dugouts to drift boats. We're all about the games we play and the waters we fish, the stories, the rivalries, the moments that keep us coming back. If it happens under the lights or out on the water, we're in. This is Lineups and Lures. 7-game World Series. Could you ask for anything better than that?
This might have been the best World Series in a couple of decades. There was, I think it literally had it all, didn't it?
I don't think this was arguably the best World Series in a couple of decades. I think this might have been one of the best World Series of all time. I mean, you had walk-off hits, you had benches clearing, you had I don't even want to do the math on how many millions of dollars pitched in Game 7 for the Dodgers. I mean, you had a little bit of everything. It was great.
Yeah, no, and quite frankly, I think the Blue Jays should have won it.
Are you saying that the better team didn't win it? Or are you expand on that?
So I'm not necessarily saying that, because if you look at the Dodgers lineup, it's pretty ridiculous. And then again, there's some big names on the other side, but I personally think that the biggest gaffe of the World Series was IKF's base running at third base on that critical ground ball where he was punched out. And if he runs the bases anywhere correctly, he's safe by 4 steps.
All right. Why do you think he did not run the bases correctly? Let me.
Because I'm a baseball player, and number one, he did not. You, as a third baseman, are taught equal to the third baseman in that situation. He goes, you go. Second of all, he did not take a secondary lead. And third, you do not slide feet first on that play. You either go head first or you continue to run right through the base like you would at first base. It's a force play. There's nothing else to do. There's 3 in a row reasons why he screwed that up.
All right, so let's dig into this. So the first thing is the organizational philosophy is not to get doubled off on a line drive, which is completely reasonable considering the magnitude of that situation. So he was instructed by his third base coach, who was instructed by the organization, that we're going to take a manageable lead.
Got it.
To the point where if there is a line drive hit to a shortstop, third baseman, we are able to get back and not get doubled up in that situation. So you are not going to see him take, and you're talking initial lead. You're not going to see him take an initial lead, the distance that the third baseman is because they're trying to do everything in their power to make sure he doesn't get doubled up. That is 100% the mentality in there, and I don't disagree with that mentality.
I do.
I don't.
Look at the everyone wants to play Moneyball. What is the percentage of time that you get doubled off? I bet you it's less than 1 out of 10. And if you have that scenario, I guarantee you it's less than 1 out of 10. I'm playing the numbers, brother. And even so, okay, let's say he doesn't do that. All he had to do was one of the 3 things I said, and he's safe. He didn't do any of them.
Well, I don't disagree that he should have went standing up. I 100% agree that he should have went sprinting through the base. I think sliding.
You either Pete Rose that thing or you go sprinting through the base. Either way, you do not slide the way he slid.
No, running through a base on your feet is still the fastest way to get to a base.
Then you just answered the question.
The second fastest way is to dive head first.
Yeah, Pete Rose it.
And the third way is to slide feet first. So he made an incorrect decision at the slide. But getting back to his lead was good. My argument is there wasn't a very good secondary, and if bases were loaded, so he hesitated when he saw the ground ball hit. That's a down angle ball off the bat.
You're not arguing with me. You're agreeing with me.
I'm not agreeing with you. I am 100% in favor of the way he took his lead and the philosophy of what they were doing to say.
But you agree with me that the secondary, the read, and the slide were all incorrect.
I think the secondary could have been a little bit better intent to score.
I'm not sure he even moved.
That's the thing, is he was kind of flat-footed when the ball was hit. And if you look, that ball bounced before he really took off, and that was what cost him. So he should have been, moving towards home plate, even if it's slightly. He can still be in a 10, 12-foot lead. That's fine. but he should have been moving towards home plate as the ball's entering the hitting zone with the anticipation that every single pitch is going to be a ground ball put in play, or with, today's world of catchers, the ball is going to be gloved instead of blocked, and it's going to bounce away from him, and we're going to score the winning run in the World Series.
Every time you take that lead in that position, I don't necessarily agree with the philosophy. I understand the philosophy. That is a differing of opinion, and let's just say I can get on board with that because I do understand it. It's not a stupid thing. It's just I believe it the other way. But it's not stupid. Okay, let's assume we decide as a coaching staff that's the way we're going to do it. When you take a lead at third base, you should be in foul territory, a step or two off the line, and you should be landing left, right, and as that right foot should have all the weight on it as that ball's going through the hitting area. That allows you to make that read as the ball's going through the hitting area to either A, tighten up and get back, or continue and go. That is the way a proper secondary should end at that point. And at this level, I expect more out of these guys.
Oh, I agree. And if this was a 14U game and I'm coaching third, like I'm standing in that base runner's ear, and every single pitch I'm saying, hey, let's anticipate down angle contact. Let's anticipate a ball in the dirt.
Have we heard that? Yes.
Like I'm just putting that seed in their head that we are expecting action. And it was almost like he was just waiting for a fly ball or a home run instead of going, all right, if we just put a ball in play here, I'm going to score. Well, that wasn't the mentality. Lead or not, that wasn't the mentality. And that was, I think that kind of cost them and took a lot of the mojo.
In all fairness, now that we've just completely berated IKF for 5 minutes here, one play does not decide a 7-game series. So,
whoa. No. That's two really good teams. I mean, they played an 18-inning game, which showed that they were very evenly matched.
Okay, did you make it through?
Absolutely.
So I did too. It was a funny night because there was the high school football game that night. And we went down to the football game, and I think it was about the second or third inning by the time we had to go down the hill. And that was the night we got the thunderstorms in town. So everybody got told to either go to the gymnasium or the alternative gymnasium because there was lightning, which never happens here. And, of course, we live a mile away from the football field, so we decided to go back up home. And, by the time they said the football game was going to start, we're in like the 9th or 10th inning, and it's like, well, I think we might just stick around.
Well, you made a good decision. I mean, really, you could have started in the 9th inning, and that was a fantastic baseball game.
Well, isn't it funny how there was a complete game shutout thrown in the middle of that game by the two teams?
Yeah, but goes back to my point. So you say one play doesn't change the World Series.
No,
one play changed.
Big plays.
All it takes is one play to swing momentum, that just deflates that team when you don't score that run on a play that, again, I think a 14U team scores on that play. I think a well-coached high school baseball team scores on that play. A college baseball team scores on that play. It's just hard to see in the World Series with the best athletes and a guy who's, in my view, he wasn't ready to score. It was mind-boggling. I don't know. I don't understand.
No, you're right. And I think, especially since that was a guy with decent wheels and can run. I mean, if that's Vladdy out there or if that's Bichette on one leg.
No.
Vladdy
scores on that ball. Kirk might score on that ball. And you know why Kirk scores on that ball is because he knows he's the slowest guy in baseball, so he has to get a good jump. He has to be aggressive to score because you're going on a ball down anyway.
Yeah, so you don't have a choice. No, I think the classic example of that is the current first baseman for the Seattle Mariners. Second slowest guy in the league and steals 30 bases.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
So I think one thing I want to point out is Yamamoto's a dude.
He is a dude. I mean, coming back, throwing a complete game, 96 pitches, a complete game, and then offering to go pitch the next day in the 18-inning game. He was warming up.
Yeah.
And then he goes and throws another 96 pitches, and then he goes out and throws 2+ innings in Game 7 of the World Series to win it.
I think it was 3 complete. Yeah.
I mean, talk about money well spent.
So the funny thing is that everyone's talking about, is that the greatest deal, and is that the greatest pitching performance in World Series history, yada yada yada. And I did see a side by side of the 2014 Madison Bumgarner numbers. It's not close. Bumgarner did everything like 30% more, but still, great effort.
Well, and there was a Randy Johnson year where he threw, I think, 3 times within a World Series, and
right.
But for Yamamoto, Bumgarner came in and was getting saves. Like, he was throwing 1 inning. Yamamoto came in a deciding Game 7 and went 3 innings. And
actually, Bumgarner threw like 5 innings more than Yamamoto did.
Yeah, but that's over the course of the entire World Series.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying that
he started at least 2 of those games.
Yeah, but Yamamoto did it at the end of the World Series.
Well, didn't Bumgarner get the last out too?
Yeah, but I think he only threw like an inning. I don't think he went out and went
Madison
3
was
innings.
Still better.
Oh, okay.
I'm right on this one.
I mean, I might vote for Randy Johnson's performance with Arizona was better than Bumgarner, and that's I'm a Randy Johnson fan.
I was too young to. I wasn't here yet. I can't comment on that one.
Yeah, but I'd
have to go back. But
that was a great World Series. I mean, I don't like the way the Dodgers won by spending a ton of money, but that was just a fantastic World Series. And, I think it was the most watched World Series globally in the history of baseball. I think it was the most watched sporting event of the year. It was a big deal.
Second
to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
But great for baseball.
Absolutely right. You had that, even though Toronto's, the Canadian team, I mean, what is it, a 3-hour drive to New York? I mean, that's really not that far away from a lot of those, that big East Coast money and network. So that didn't hurt Major League Baseball. Obviously, the Dodgers are a global brand at this point, so that didn't hurt baseball. Couple of other quick hot takes. How about both catchers catching 18 innings and then starting again the next day?
Well, especially when you talk about a Will Smith who missed considerable time at the end of the season with injury. So for those guys to grind that out and catch every inning, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was kind of nuts. I was kind of putzing around the office when the day after that game, going, okay, looking at the backups, looking at the pitching, right, left, and I'm like, you can't take those bats out of the lineup. And the problem is you got Springer and Ohtani as your DHs, so you're not taking those 2 bats out of the lineup. It's like, they got to catch.
Yeah, your hands were kind of tied, but man, great for those guys to do that. Speaking of Will Smith, have you seen the stat, the wild stat?
I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
Will Smith has won 6 consecutive World Series titles.
I did see that. You're right. I did see that.
I mean, what are the odds? I know it's a fairly common name, but man, 6 straight years? That's a lot of pressure next year.
Can we trade for a Will Smith somehow?
Yeah, no kidding. I think everybody's trying to get Will Smith on their roster, even if it's just
bring some kid up from AA ball or something and park him at the back end of the roster.
Yeah, if I had
be our pinch runner.
If I had a Rule 5 draft pick and there was a Will Smith out there somewhere, I think I might take him.
Yeah, just on hunch alone, huh?
Yeah. You got any other hot takes on the World Series?
No, I just think that, quite frankly, it was awesome that there wasn't really any, umpiring decision that I think was screwed up that, maybe changed the game. I thought for the most part the umpires were seen and not heard, which is awesome. Anytime you don't have to deal with that, that's great. Great baseball. I think the makeup of both of those teams could look a little different next year, which we'll probably get into over the winter break. But great baseball. What a great way to end. Extras on Game 7. You can't ask for anything more than that. And, the only problem is I got to wait 4 or 5 months before I can start all over again.
I know. That's the problem is now what do we do for the next 5 months? I mean, we got a really good football season going, so that helps. But yeah.
We're good through January, but there's a little window between February, March, and April where it's a little sad.
Well, you might be able to go catch a Arizona Fall League game this week and So you're going to still get your fix a little bit. I get my fix every single night, but it's something different being able to watch the game.
Yes, no, I will be in the great state of Arizona for a good portion of February, March, and April. So yes, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, should be good. But that was a great World Series. It's going to be a really crazy offseason coming up. There's a lot of free agents to happen. There's award season coming up here next week. So...
All right, can I have one teaser free agent?
Sure. Let's hear it.
All right. And I'm only doing it because it's my dream for the Mariners.
If you say Skubal to the Mariners, I'm hanging up right now.
No, we don't need him. We got pitching. We got starting pitching. I don't need that. But what we do need is another bat because we're going to lose Suarez.
That's fine.
So, I'm a couple of assumptions here. Obviously, Mitch Garver's gone as expected. My assumptions are twofold. Naylor and Polanco re-signed.
Yes.
Okay, so those are the assumptions that we need to. I figure Naylor's probably getting in the $18 to $20 million per range, whether that's a 3, 4, 5 year deal. That's between the Mariners and the agent. I think Polanco is probably getting with his injury history, not quite as much, but he might get the Mitch Garver deal, $225, something like that. I think it's a pretty big pay grade from what he got this year. So my deal then is if now we've got first base, second base, shortstop covered, we need a third base. Right. I believe that there is a certain player that actually played in the World Series that is a free agent, that is a middle-of-the-road defensive shortstop at best that I think could move over to third base just nicely, and he might be a top 10 hitter in all of Major League Baseball when healthy. I'd like to see Bo Bichette at third base for the Seattle Mariners next year.
See, this gets into a whole deeper conversation because JP only has 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah, but we got the rookie kid coming up.
Exactly. So do you move Colt Emerson over to third and see if he can play third base this year with the thought of moving?
Well, like I said, this was a teaser.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
Let's play with this later.
I like some of that thought, but the name that I would be bringing out, because I think it might be a little bit cheaper than Bichette and a shorter term contract, is I'm looking at Cody Bellinger.
You think he's available? You think the Yankees just let him go?
I mean, he opted out. He had 1 year, $25 million left on his contract. So
yeah, but he's got a nasty habit of when it's a get paid year, having a nice little all-star year, and then kind of disappearing for a while.
Well, let's sign him on a 1 year deal then. Win for everybody.
Yeah, he ain't signing a 1 year deal, otherwise he would have kept the one he had. But I hear you. All right, let's play with that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Ready to make big gains this winter? Portland Baseball Club's Sunday camps are back and better than ever. Start your morning with a 90-minute hitting camp, then stay for a 90 minutes of pitching and fielding to round out your game. Every Sunday through March for just $60 per camp. Work with top PBC coaches, sharpen your mechanics, and train like the pros right here in Portland. Spots fill fast, so grab yours now at portlandbaseballclub.com. That's portlandbaseballclub.com, where Portland's best ball players train. NFL trade deadline is coming past. Not huge blockbuster deals like we've seen in the past, but there were some pretty big names that got traded, and there was some names, Breece Hall, that didn't get traded, which I don't quite understand.
That I think kind of wish that they did get traded.
Yeah, I think that guy's going to have to be really careful with his social media posts because, he saw his best defensive tackle, his best cornerback, one of his better cornerbacks all traded, and he's just sitting there going, and I'm still here? What am I doing?
I got to tell you, I might necessarily not want to own him in my fantasy football lineup for the rest of the year because I highly doubt he will be giving 100% effort for the rest of the season.
Or he wants to put up big numbers and then he sits out and demands a trade next year.
I think he's a free agent at the end of the year anyway.
Oh, he is, yeah. So he's looking to get paid. I could see him going, screw you guys. I'm going to put up big numbers.
He's done enough to do that, brother. his agent can sit there and go, dude, they traded the farm. We weren't about to get hurt for losing nothing.
Yeah,
That's the easy one. That's an easy one to justify. What are they? 1-6, 1-7? Yeah, that you can justify that one.
Oh, I mean, we got a barn burner. The Browns at Jets, 1-7 versus 2-6. I mean, come on. Tickets as low as $42. What a bargain!
Sad. That is just sad.
Yeah, but so the Colts, 2 first rounders and a wide receiver for Sauce Gardner. I mean, they're all in. This we'll call them new ownership, but that family is going after it this year.
So the daughter's running the show, right?
Yes.
Everything I have seen is that she is on the sidelines with clipboards and taking notes and
headset.
Like she is all in.
Yes.
And it looks to me like obviously, and I don't want to hop on a sore subject here, but obviously Dad was struggling with some demons the last few years of his life, and it probably transformed into the front office. But with a fresh take, a fresh look, it looks like there was some pretty good pieces there, and all they needed was just a little bit of massaging, and, well, they're arguably the best team in football.
Yeah. Well, they went out and got themselves a franchise quarterback. Is it too early to say that? But
I'm not going there yet. But,
he's pretty good, but if we talk about last week's game, I mean, 70 offensive plays, and they only gave the ball to Jonathan Taylor 14 times, like that. So
can we beat on the Jets a little bit more?
No, why?
Can we beat on the Giants a little bit right now about how they got on national TV and didn't want this guy, and now he's out there leading the best team in football?
I mean,
come on, let's do that a little bit.
It's a dead horse. Let's move on.
Yeah, it's still a fun one. I can't stand those guys.
Yeah, but I don't know. Colts. I think they got a little. I think they got a little excited about their team and got away from their game plan that was winning last week. So I imagine Jonathan Taylor's going to see the football a lot this week.
The only thing I'll say about the trade for Sauce Gardner, and not that he's not a phenomenal football player, that's a lot. And I sometimes wonder if they got a little punch drunk here and drinking the Kool-Aid a little much, and maybe somebody needed to say, hey, we probably ain't winning it this year. Like, let's just take a step back. We've got a young team for the most part, inexperienced with playoffs. We still have to beat Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Let's not get carried away here. Let's keep our draft picks, keep going through the draft, and maybe you get 2 studs instead of 1 stud. That would be my only, playing devil's advocate on this one, right? I mean, I'm just sitting there going, okay, you obviously pushed your chips in, but is it worth it at this point? Is he the piece that's going to get you to the promised land? And I'm not sure it is. Yeah, my take.
But we talk about this all the time we talked about it with the Mariners. We've talked about it a little bit with the Blazers. Like, the Colts haven't been in the playoffs since 2020.
Right.
They have an opportunity to not only make the playoffs this year, which I think they're probably, they're number 1 seed right now, or tied for. They have a chance to make the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. I think you have to take that opportunity, and if it means going out and getting a key defensive piece, and I mean, Sauce is only 25 years old. I mean, he's 3 years, and this is his 3rd year in the league. I mean, you're getting a guy at his peak that's going to be around probably for a couple years. I mean, why not push your chips in and say, all right, let's see if we can make a run at it this year, and then we got next year, we can kind of build around the edges a little bit more. But if I was a Colts fan and I lived in Indy, I'd be really excited for them showing that they're all in.
And look, hey, they got a lockdown corner. I'm not saying the move is bad. I'm just saying that I think it's too early. I think they got a little punch drunk. I think they should have sat and said, look, how many times did we talk about it with, even maybe the guys at the Mariners were smart and said our starting pitching wasn't quite ready. This year it was, and damn it, they were 1 out away from being in the World Series, and they did push the chips in this year. I've seen it with the Seahawks. Like, last year we saw pieces, and they did a couple of things, but they didn't get rid of their draft picks. And now because of that, we've got a left guard that might be a Pro Bowler as a rookie. Like I said, I'm not hating on the deal. I just don't know if it was a deal that should have been waited until next year and maybe another couple picks. Like I said, in my opinion, hey, maybe this is the difference that allows them to play, a cover 3, or allows them to play more man coverage they can bring a safety into the box now because they don't have to worry about one side of the field, and that changes their defense. If it does that, it's a phenomenal move. So, yeah, no, like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate there.
I think it's a great move.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Cowboys and the Quinnen Williams deal real quick. So,
yeah,
a second rounder and a first rounder to pick up a defensive tackle. I don't understand what's happening in Dallas. I kind of feel like Jerry's making moves just to stay in the headlines so that people are talking about the Cowboys because I just don't get it. I mean, you just lost to the Cardinals. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the Cowboys don't have a plan. It seems like Jerry wakes up one day and goes, "Let's get a defensive tackle." Okay. Yeah, they don't have a plan, brother. I'm sorry, there's not a plan, and you can see it, and that's why they're up and down. So
yeah,
I kind of agree with you, Jerry being Jerry.
Yeah, I don't get it, but let's get on to the Seahawks. So the Seahawks made a move. Only one move, which I'm a little surprised about. I kind of thought we might see a certain Reek Woolen traded, but I think with some of our injuries, keeping him for depth and everything is probably a good decision. But we go out and we get Rashid Shaheed, a spread the field, long distance. I mean, the guy's got touchdowns of 70, 80, 90 yards every year. So What do you think the rationale is? Do you think this is just a spread the field, give us a little bit of length, opens up kind of that underneath for JSN, and hopefully Kupp is back and Horton? Like you think he's, I'm not going to say a decoy, but you think this is more of a move to open up the rest of our receivers, or do you think this guy is like a real game changer for our offense?
I'm going to answer that question two ways. First of all, depth. The answer, first of all, is depth. We do not have a deep receiving core, and this was depth. Number one, Cooper Kupp, as good as he is when healthy, the key part of that statement was when healthy. That's where I'm at with this. I think this is a depth play. I think it's another option. I think this is also, just a situation where he is another option. He's pretty much in the prime of his career. He's 26, 27 years old, I believe. You got to look back in 23 when he had a decent quarterback, 75 targets, 46 receptions, 700 yards. 5 tutties, that's a good third option right there.
Well, and you put him back with his offensive coordinator when he was putting up those numbers. So, and now he's got a quarterback that, not saying that wasn't Carr there during that time frame.
I forget, but yes, regardless anyway.
So now he's back with his offensive coordinator. He's back with a good solid quarterback that, the guy's MVP candidate right now.
Yeah, that's not really out of line, no.
It's not. Dude, we'll talk about the Seahawks here in a minute, but he put up a game on primetime.
Okay.
So I think it was a good move. Like you said, I think depth is good, but I think it's going to be one of those where he's going to get behind some defenses, and I think we're going to see some explosive touchdowns from him. And even if we don't,
tell you right now, when let's just play the fun game for a minute. Obviously, you got JSN as your number one option. Kupp's probably your number 2 option. Then you've got Bonner and Arroyo coming out of the tight end spot. You've got either Charbonnet or Walker coming out of the backfield on a wheel route. And then you've got on the other side, this guy just showed up. That's 5 pretty good options for your quarterback to look at.
Oh, absolutely. And that Horton is definitely ahead of schedule.
Well, he had a game. Let's make him do it.
He's been having some games. Early in the season, he had a touchdown. He's been doing really well as our returner.
Absolutely, but let's tamper it a little bit. Let's not anoint anybody after 8 football games. But yes, no, I mean I like what I'm seeing. I'm not saying I don't. Just yeah. So no, I think this was a decent move. We didn't give up a ton. The only thing I'll say is I think we had a couple of areas of need that were not addressed that I think could have been for relatively cheap. We need a linebacker. Ernst Young went down this weekend and arguably one of the best middle linebackers in football. He's not done for a long time, but he's done for a while. And we were already on the weak side linebacker at the Wills. So I would have liked to have seen a veteran linebacker come in, and I think there was availability for probably a 7th-round pick. The other thing was I would have liked to have seen Reek Wallen traded, which would have got some draft capital back, which we could have flipped for either another corner or that linebacker that I talked about. The other position of need is right guard. I still think we need one more lineman. So then again, you can't have everything. There is this thing called the salary cap, which is a pesky thing that gets in the way. So I think we addressed one of the 4 positions of need, and hopefully we can stay healthy enough at those other positions to make a deep run.
Hey there, I'm Chad with Jackson Painting and Remodel, and if you're looking to give your home a fresh new look, you've come to the right place. Whether you need a bold new color for your living room or a fresh coat to brighten up your home's exterior, my team and I have got you covered. We specialize in both indoor and outdoor painting, using only the best materials to make sure your space looks amazing and stands the test of time. If you're ready to transform your home, visit jacksonpainting.com. I'd love to come by, chat about your ideas, and give you a free estimate. At Jackson Painting and Remodel, we don't just paint, we make your vision a reality. Again, visit jacksonpainting.com or call 503-620-2600.
So there were a lot of trade deadline moves, but there were also a lot of guys not moved. So who are some of the surprising names other than Breece Hall that didn't get moved that you were expecting to see?
Yeah, so one of the guys that I thought was honestly on the Seahawks radar was Jalen Waddle in Miami. That franchise is an absolute dumpster fire. I'm not sure Tyreek's ever going to play another game of football again. Tua with his concussion issues, it made sense for me for them to blow it up, get some draft picks, and go into full rebuild. So Jalen Waddle was, quite frankly, a guy I was hoping the Seahawks were going to look at. However, he's stuck sitting there with not a lot probably going on.
So talking about Waddle, so we end up getting Shaheed. Wouldn't you rather have a long threat like Shaheed than Waddle, who seems to be more of a JSN type wide receiver? I mean, Tyreek Hill was their speed threat. Waddle was kind of their control receiver. So picking up a guy like Shaheed, I think, is actually a better move than picking up Waddle, and quite frankly, might have come cheaper.
Well, the answer is about $20 million a season difference. That's the answer.
Yes.
Yeah, this was a money deal. So I know we've talked about Shaheed. I think that's a decent move. I'm just surprised somebody didn't come off the Waddle. On the same team, Bradley Chubb. The fact that he's still sitting there was honestly another guy that I was thinking hopefully the Seahawks were looking at because he could have filled out need at linebacker. But that one might have just come down that he's getting paid a lot of money, and I think that might have been the problem. Let's see here. Well, here's the biggest one of all, Trey Hendrickson. The fact that Micah got traded, the fact that Williams got traded, Trey Hendrickson is arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL. He's on that same list as Micah and a couple other guys. The Cincinnati Bengals are a dumpster fire, and that defense, Flacco went out and put up 40 points the last 2 weeks and they lost. So you can't tell me it's the offensive problem. So
well, the problem Chase Brown has no problem telling you that it's not the offense that's the problem.
Well, when you're scoring 40 points, the man's got a point. So Obviously that team is hamstrung by the fact that they have 4 massive contracts, including Trey Hendrickson. There was an opportunity to get off one of them and get some picks and rebuild. Didn't happen, but that was one of my hot takes. Another hot take was the Ravens have 2 great tight ends in Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely being 5-6 years younger than Andrews, and the Ravens not looking to be a playoff threat this year just due to injury, it looks like. I thought Mark Andrews might have been on the list for, like I could see him going to a veteran team like the Rams or the Packers or, the Packers after losing Tucker Kraft. I mean, there was a match made in heaven right there.
Well, let's go back to that. So, first of all, the Ravens are going to make the playoffs this year. If Lamar stays healthy for the rest of the season, the Ravens are a playoff team, and they're a playoff team that nobody wants to see. 1. 2.
Oh, I'd take them. No. They're incomplete.
No. That's a really good football team. Number 2, Mark Andrews is not going to be in the league for very much longer. I mean, he's getting up there. He's been around. So
only need him for 1 season.
Yeah, but the Ravens need Likely because how much Mark Andrews is a big piece of that offense, and Likely's already been there for 2 years now. So having that guy slide right in when Andrews retires is worth keeping him around versus going out and trading.
No, that's exactly my point. They are going to pay Likely. Andrews is expendable now.
No, keep him around. You need that continuity as you're making this improbable playoff run.
You got to play the long game, brother. You got to go get something for a guy when he's still worth something, not just put him out to pasture.
No,
you don't need 2 top tight ends. There's only one. You don't need it. I mean, it's a luxury, and it's a luxury that's nice to have, but you don't need it.
Well, Likely's been injured a lot this year, and he hasn't played a ton, so he just got back. I think you do need 2 tight ends. Look at the Seahawks. Obviously not top tight ends, but there's a lot of offensive sets, especially when you're in a run-heavy offense, which the Baltimore Ravens are. Having 2 tight ends in there really helps with the blocking. So I think you're wrong on that
right. One. Well, all right, we disagree. Great. Moving on. The fact that Kirk Cousins is still in Atlanta shocked me. The fact that Russell Wilson is in New York shocked me. I don't know if he's got a no-trade clause. He might at his level. Then again, so Kirk probably does too. So yeah, that was interesting. Chuba Hubbard at Carolina with Rico Dowdle going absolutely nuts was another one. Olave at New Orleans, they're a dumpster fire. I figured he's in the last year of his rookie contract, which means he's going to get paid a lot of money. I figured they might try to get something for him. So yeah, just kind of, obviously teams that are struggling is who I was focusing on, but just some, like I said, some quick hitters and some guys that I was surprised a few more of those pieces weren't moved.
Well, how about Kansas City Chiefs don't make any moves? They're trying to stay relevant.
They don't got any money.
But there's a lot.
They got no room on the cap.
There's a lot of teams that should have made moves or would have liked to have seen make moves that didn't make moves.
I think you're missing the point. They don't have the cap room, brother. They literally don't got it.
Yeah. I get that
this
part.
is the NFL. You have a hard cap. This isn't the NBA where you pay a little fine. You cannot do it. They blocked the trade. The commissioner's office won't sign off on it.
Yeah. The other thing, listening to kind of Game Day and NFL Network and everything, they were talking a lot about, the Jets weren't necessarily looking to trade either Sauce or Quinnen, and the Colts and the Cowboys just kind of kept coming back going, all right, we'll give you this. Nope, not good enough. We'll give you this. Nope, not good enough. And they just kept sweetening the offer. Like, those 2 teams were so motivated to get those guys, they probably overpaid a little bit. And
I completely agree. That's what I was getting at with the whole, too early.
Yeah.
2 firsts is a lot of capital, man. That is especially when you've got 2 guys that are going to play every day on rookie contracts for 5 years. I mean, you want to get into salary cap talk, which we'll do another time. That is where I think some GMs are great and some aren't so good.
Yeah, it's definitely a delicate dance, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about our Seahawks. We haven't talked
Yep.
about them in a couple weeks, and we put up a performance this past week on Sunday Night Football against obviously a struggling Commanders team, but for Darnold to go out and go 21-24, was 17 for 17 at one point before somebody did the unspeakable, and you can't talk about a perfect game or a no-hitter while it's going on. And apparently somebody in the locker room decided to tell him he was, 15 for 15 at halftime? I mean, come on. He wouldn't name him in the post-game press conference, but I think if there's kangaroo court in the NFL, I think he got fined pretty good. That's just a no-no.
Yeah, I guarantee you there is kangaroo court, but okay. Yeah, okay.
But Sam Darnold is looking like an MVP candidate. I mean, he is leading that offense. We're putting up some points. He's taking care of the football. Our run game is still a little bit lacking, I think. I mean, we run. There's a threat of the run, but when that run game really gets going and that play action really gets going off of a really good run game, that offense is really good, and we haven't even talked about the defense.
All right, so let's focus on a couple of points. Let's talk about the run game. Agreed. It hasn't been great. And the stats, you look at them and you go, nah. But here's what you need to look at. There are very few negative plays. And by that, I mean, there is a lot of 2nd and 8, which, you know what, is not great, but it still keeps you on time, as they say. You're on time with your down and distance. Now, would you prefer to be 2nd and 5? Of course. But you're not 2nd and 12. And that's a big difference. And here's the other thing I'm going to say. We're now into the month of November, and then we go into the month of December, and then we get into playoff time. And I got to tell you that, you know what? It gets a little colder outside, gets a little wetter outside. Sometimes it's snowing outside. And, you've taken 10, 12 weeks of hits in the NFL. Maybe you're not moving as fast as you did on week 1. And I think that's where this running game starts to really come alive. I think we're going to start beating guys into submission. And I think that we are primed to really take off with the running game in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. I think the foundation is laid, and now it's just letting everybody else kind of wear down, and I think our run game will control a lot of games, and hopefully we don't have to rely on Darnold, throwing the ball, 40, 50 times like you see in some teams. We're going to be able to control the football, control the time of possession, and the best way to keep Pat Mahomes from scoring is don't let him get the football.
Well, I mean, you and I have been a part, and maybe you've been a part of more, but I'm talking about 2 golden eras of Seahawks football with the Hasselbeck run through, 05, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, there was no golden era of Seahawk football prior to the Hasselbeck era.
All right, so the 2 golden eras of the Seattle Seahawks was the Hasselbeck era, and my goodness, was that fun watching that team run the football. LOB years obviously speak for themselves. Two Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl ring. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say I think we are entering the 3rd phase of primetime Seattle Seahawks football. And I think it starts with the defense.
Oh, our defense is phenomenal, especially if we're able to stay healthy. Hopefully Ernest Jones isn't out for more than 2 to 3 weeks, it looks like maybe. But yeah, we fly around the football, and we it's impressive what Mike McDonald's been able to do in just 1 year, 1.5 years, transforming that defense.
And you got to remember, we've done it for the most part without Love, without Witherspoon, and without Emanuele. And you could argue that those are our 3 best defensive backs on the lineup.
Yeah, we've had 1 or 2 of the 3. We have, I don't think we've had all 3 all year.
I mean, Love, I thought was out for a week or 2. They put him on IR, so he's done for the month of November. There is what they've been able to, and I think the other thing we need to talk more about is the front 4. And this is exactly the way. This is the LOB defense. When you look at that defense, we didn't blitz a lot. It was the front four got pressure, and we have a great front four. And then the back seven can just run around, make tackles, prevent the passing game. It's lovely. It's great to watch.
Oh, it's fun to watch. But, as a fan, I love seeing us go up, 31-0 at halftime. But unfortunately, it just gets us out of those primetime games. That Russell Wilson era, we were demolishing teams in the first quarter. And by halftime, the game was over. And that's kind of how it felt on Sunday, which was a great feeling to know that, hey, it's second half. We just got to stay healthy. But I want to see us in more primetime games. And I feel like if we keep playing like that, we're going to play ourselves out of them.
We had a Monday night game earlier. We just had Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, we got one more coming up. We got a Thursday night against the Rams, which will be a huge football game.
Well, now hold the phone here, sunshine. There's a game that I think might get flexed. Sunday, December the 14th, Seahawks Colts at Lumen Field. That could be an absolute banger.
Yeah, I would hope that one would get flexed.
That could be the number one seed in the NFC against the number one seed in the AFC. I mean, that's not even a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that could be an absolute banger right there.
No, we got a really good football team. I mean, and
we
you're starting.
Let's go to that football game. I think I'm going to go to that football game.
Yeah. That's a busy day at the Taylor household.
Oh, is it your Christmas party or something?
Yeah, that's my Christmas cookie party.
Perfect. Leave the wife at home. Let's go to the football game.
It's my party, not her party.
How much fun do you want me to have about having a Christmas cookie party?
Hey, it's grown exponentially year to year. People are already test baking their cookies for this year. I mean, it's a whole thing. I'll be shocked if there's less than 40 people there this year. It's kind of taken on a mind of its own, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried. I might have to move to the facility here pretty soon. Or the guest list is going to keep getting smaller.
All right.
So, yeah, unfortunately, maybe they can move it to Monday. Move it to Monday.
Well, they can't flex it to Monday. They can only flex it to Sunday Night Football. But, let's talk about the schedule for a little bit, because I think the Seahawks have a nice little ride home here. Cardinals at home, it's a division game, always scares me. Rams in LA always scares me. But then we have the Titans, the Vikings, the Falcons, which is kind of a 3-week bye period, which at least it should be. Get healthy. And then we've got kind of a murderer's row to finish. We've got the Colts, the Rams, the upstart Carolina Panthers, and then the always pesky, annoying, hopefully not healthy, I don't mean it that way, but the 49ers to finish the season.
Yeah, hopefully they're out of contention by that point, and
correct.
Maybe they're under their third string quarterback.
Well, I mean, I don't want to wish injuries on anybody, but let's just say hopefully they're out of contention at that point, so they're not maybe they're not fielding their absolute best lineup on purpose, not necessarily due to injury.
Yes, or maybe they're resting. They're resting people.
Yes. Maybe they could pull the old Greg Popovich. Did not play, reason, old.
Yes, exactly. No, I like our schedule coming up. I mean, we should be able to beat the Cardinals. They got quarterback controversy all over the place. The Rams is going to be a great game. Titans should be a win. Vikings, hopefully we can get to JJ, kind of confuse him with our defense and take care of that game. Falcons, that's just a coin flip of which team is going to show up. One week they can go put up 40, and the next week they get shut out. So who knows what's going on there. That Colts one is definitely circled. I mean, that is a Super Bowl potential preview. The Rams Thursday night.
Who would have thought that at the beginning of the year, right?
Nobody would have thought that.
You could have made some bucks on that one.
Yes, absolutely. Well, just to make the playoffs, I think you could have made. I mean, everyone had Houston, so Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
That Rams Thursday night game, that's a good one. That one, I might circle that one, start looking at some tickets, because that could be for the division.
Okay.
Panthers, yeah, that's a tough game. I mean, that's a good football team if they're staying healthy. They're definitely on the way up, and like you said, who knows where the 49ers are going to be at the end of the season. So we got a good run at a 1 seed possibility here.
Yeah, I mean, let's just hope they stay healthy, brother. I mean, that's kind of the magic bullet at this point, right? We just need them to stay healthy, and yeah, that's what, pray for health, and yeah. So,
Yep.
like I said, I think there's a lot of good things to be done. I still wouldn't mind betting there's a guy or two that comes off that practice squad and shocks us all. So, no, I'm loving what I'm seeing. I think if they can just continue to shorten football games, that's what we always talk about, right? And you mentioned it, time of possession, run the ball, shorten that game. And when you've got a guy like Matthew Stafford on the other side of the lineup that we're going to have to play against, and then in the playoffs when we're going to see some of the best in the business, the best form of defense is keeping them on the sidelines. So I totally agree with that.
Sweet. Let's get into a quick preview of Week 10 here. So there's some interesting football games. Let's just run right through, and starting off with Thursday night, we got the Raiders and the Broncos. Think the Broncos make it a 7-game win streak here?
I'd see how not. I mean, Gino is good for at least 2 touchdowns for him, right?
Yeah. I think the Broncos pull that one off. I don't think that's going to be a very exciting game, but you never know. I hear there's a little bit of drama going on in the Raiders. I don't think Pete's really resonating with the players right now, but that's a topic for another day. Moving on to the Sunday games. So we go back internationally to Germany. We got Colts Falcons. Would assume that the Colts are going to take care of business in that one.
I always stay away from these ones. Funny things happen when you've got that kind of travel. You're in a different country. You always I know these guys are professionals, but they're still, some of them are extremely young men with money in their pockets and sometimes don't always make the greatest of decisions. I don't know, man. The Colts should win this by 2 touchdowns, but not one I would bet on. But yes, I think the Colts should take care of business.
Yep. Giants Bears. I think the Bears take care of business, beat the Giants. I think the Giants at 2-7 are understanding they're not a playoff team this year, and I think you're going to see games managed just maybe a little bit differently. I think you're going to see probably a little more run game, kind of try to protect that rookie quarterback a little bit. So I think the Bears take care of it.
When Scatterboo got hurt, man, he was kind of that spark plug for that team. I feel sorry for that kid, man. What a brutal injury. But, I don't have a lot more to add on that. I kind of agree with you. I think the Bears are still kind of scratching and clawing to maybe make a run. And, so I got the Bears in that one.
You got the Bills at the Dolphins, which the Bills should take care of business. But I'm telling you, there's something about when you're on the road and you go to Miami, weird things happen. That Saturday night tends to get a little crazy from everything I'm hearing. Hopefully the Bills show up, take care of business.
I was about ready to say the exact same thing. I think it's starting to get down to the business end of the season. I got to think that there's some veterans on that Dolphins roster that have just had enough. That is a team in crisis. The general manager was fired. Mike, what's his name down there?
Mike McDonald.
Mike McDonald is no, that's our head coach.
Oh, Mike. I don't know. Does it really matter?
He's been on the hot seat for a while. I think.
But whoa! Is he on the hot seat though? Because they fired their GM and then they came out and were like, he is our manager, head coach, at least through the end of this season. I don't think they're making a change. I think they think he has the ability to lead that team. I just think that the pieces and the roster construction is just not conducive to winning. And when you lost Tyreek Hill, I mean, your season, you can't replace that.
I mean, he got a get out of jail free card there, which I think probably helps. I think his seat is definitely lukewarm to medium. It's certainly not, cool as a cucumber, but regardless of that, we'll talk about that more later. Yep. Bills should take care of business.
Should. Ravens, Vikings. I think the Ravens are making a run. I think they're going to go and win their third in a row, and I think this one could get ugly. I think the Ravens are on a mission.
Well, I think we talked about this when we looked at the schedule. That I think we saw that there was really no reason the Ravens, as long as Lamar stay healthy, shouldn't win like 9 in a row until they get a real tough AFC opponent.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't understand the Minnesota Vikings. That was the team that absolutely demolished the NFC last year. Okay, changing quarterback. Their decision, by the way. I don't understand it. That team should be better. But I'm with you. The Ravens, the Vikings should be better, but I got to take the Ravens here, even on the road.
Yeah, I think the Vikings will be better next year, especially if JJ can stay healthy. I think he's got a little something in there. I don't know what it is, but he seems to find a way to win and find success. So if he can stay healthy, I think they're going to have a down year this year, but they might be right back on top next year. So,
well, the reality is he's only really played 5 games of NFL football,
if that. I mean, he's missed a bunch of games. So
yeah, no.
Yep. There's a game in New Jersey. Other than Dylan Gabriel, there's not much to talk about in the Browns-Jets game, so we'll just skip right over that. Buccaneers-Patriots. This is the best game of the morning. I think this is an interesting game, and this is another one where the Patriots, especially back in the Tom Brady era, man, going to Tampa, going to Miami, they always seem to find a way to drop one of those games every year.
Well, this is a little bit different because the Bucs are the favorite.
Of course.
Couple of questions: is Bucky Irving healthy and playing?
I have not looked at injury reports yet.
And the other one is Godwin, because obviously Evans done, but if Bucky and Godwin are healthy and the rookie Inukwa, I'm sure I butchered that. I still think that let's not forget. A couple weeks ago we were talking about the Bucs as the best team in the NFC, and let's not forget that. Quite frankly, I think the Patriots have had a little luck and they've won some games over the last few years, but I think they might go down to Tampa and get a good old-fashioned butt whooping down here if those guys are healthy. I got the Bucs all day long.
Yeah, neither of them practiced today, it looks like. Both questionable, Irving and Godwin. So it'll be interesting. I think the Patriots go in and take care of business if those guys don't play. Tampa Bay's just got too many injuries, unfortunately. But they also have the leeway to kind of drop a game because, the Panthers are sitting at 5-4. Falcons are 3-5. The Bucs can probably afford to rest those guys, maybe lose this, non-conference game and still be okay in the long run. So I'm playing long game here. So I think the Patriots take it.
I'm kind of with you there. I think that's a smart enough front office and a smart enough coaching staff to go, hey, if we're at 6-2, we go to 6-3. We're still ahead of the chains. We want those guys in December and January. If we miss them for a game this week, no big deal.
Yep. Saints Panthers. Panthers are going to take this one. I sure hope. Not much else to talk about there.
Yeah, and I mean the Saints just traded a couple of their dudes too. So yeah.
Well, and they're going to start Schuff, whoever their rookie guy is. So now you got another rookie quarterback in there. Good luck.
I feel sorry for that guy.
No
He's
kidding.
going to get smoked.
Yeah. Jags and Texans in Houston. This is 5-3 versus 3-5 team. I mean, this is a good football game.
Yeah, this is a sneaky good football team. I think the Jags have kind of turned it back around, and I guess you could say the same thing for the Texans. The problem is with us being so isolated out here on the West Coast and catching predominantly NFC football, other than, the Bills and the Chiefs. This is a sneaky good football game. I don't really want to touch this one. This is going to be just a good football game.
Yeah, the big question is C.J. Stroud going to play? He went into concussion protocol, so haven't seen a report on him. But Jaguars did go out and make a trade. I mean, they got Jacoby Myers, so pairing him up with Brian Thomas, and then you got Etienne in the running game. I mean, that's not a bad Jaguars team.
I mean, let's not forget they're only a few years removed from making a deep run.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some sneaky football team.
Yeah. So that should be a good game. Cardinals Seahawks. I think Seahawks take care of business down in the desert or in Seattle.
No,
Seattle.
That's in Seattle, brother.
Yeah. So I think we take care of business. I think that one might be another blowout.
I hope you're right, but the Arizona Cardinals have been our freaking kryptonite for years. These division games, man, I mean, I can't make an argument as to why the Cardinals should even be in this game, but I guarantee you it's close.
Yeah, they're going to find a way. Yeah, I agree.
I can't see. I mean, Arizona doesn't know who's playing quarterback. They're kind of a rudderless ship. And then they go and put a whooping on the Cowboys the other night. So, I don't know. I'm going to take the Seahawks, but anytime we're inside the division, brother, I don't like it.
Yep. We got another divisional NFC West game, Rams 49ers. This should be an interesting one.
I say the exact same thing. Tell me how a healthy Rams getting Puka back, Matthew Stafford throwing absolute laser beams. They should take care of a depleted 49ers, but exactly the same sentiment on that game.
Yeah, that one could go either way. I'm not betting on that one. That's for sure.
I hate the fact that they're on at the same time because, quite frankly, I'd like to watch both football games.
Oh, it's going to be great because you're going to have just Red Zone on, and they're going to be switching back between that.
I don't like to watch Red Zone. I like to watch the football game.
Yeah, but then you got Lions Commanders too. You got 3 good afternoon games that I got no problem switching back and forth between.
Well, that's so. Have you moved over on Comcast to the split screen?
No, I've heard that's a thing, but I have not played with it yet.
I got to go to Bridgeport to get my new box, but the split screen would be awesome because then I could have the Seahawks and the noise, and then I could have Red Zone on the other side. That I would do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that one. Chad Jackson keeps talking about being able to watch pitcher in pitcher, which makes me really jealous. But he doesn't have Comcast, so I didn't know it was available on Comcast. I'll have to do some research.
Came out with it.
Okay.
All
right. Lions Commanders. I think Lions take care of this one. Commanders are quite banged up. Not just their their wide receivers are all injured. Their quarterback dislocated his elbow. He's out for a couple weeks. I think their season's over.
Yeah, I think you might put the Commanders in mothballs, and they might just have to regroup, which is tough because love seeing our old Seahawk head coach out there doing his job. Love seeing Bobby Wagner still out there on the field. He's going to be in the Ring of Honor at Quest, in a few years, and that just sucks. I think unfortunately the Lions by default here.
Yeah. Did you see Bobby Wagner walking into the Sunday Night Football game rocking the Seattle Sonics jersey?
I didn't. But
I gotta love that.
Look.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, look, there isn't anybody in the world that doesn't believe that Bobby Wagner isn't a first ballot Hall of Fame and going to Canton and will be in the Ring of Honor at Quest Field. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if. I think he would have loved to have finished out his career in Seattle, but I think with the change in coaching staff, change in philosophy, probably money a little bit too, and I don't think anybody thought he had the years left in him I think if we would have known he had 4 more good years left in him, we would have kept him. But we didn't. So, and that was just a football decision. And I think he understands that. I don't think there's any bad blood. I think he's also out there going, you guys should have kept me for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
He was actually a guy when Jones went down, I was like, the Commanders are kind of done. Does Seattle make a phone call and see if Bobby Wagner wants to come and put on the old jersey for the back end of this season? Man, that would have been a fun trade.
And doesn't he represent himself too? I think he represents himself.
I'd have to dig deeper.
Yeah, interesting. But I would have loved to have seen that reunion for the rest of this year, for sure.
Oh, I think everybody would have loved to have seen that reunion. I mean, that was like when Marshawn could hardly run from here to there, but came back and scored a couple of goal line touchdowns for us, and it was awesome.
Yeah. All right, Sunday Night Football, Steelers, Chargers. This is a tough one.
It's a good football game.
Yes.
Chris Collinsworth will be absolutely drooling over multiple players in this one. I think it's time to find out two things in this game. Is Justin Herbert ready to elevate to elite status? He is a good quarterback. He's got the numbers, he's got the stats, but he don't got playoff wins. And I think this is one of those games where if he comes out and just throws laser beams like he can, run around the football, and dominate on a national stage, I'm not going to say he's coming out party, but I think it's time where if he really is going to be, if he wants to be talked about in the same breath as a Burrow and the same breath as a Mahomes, in the same breath as a Allen, in the same breath as, quite frankly, the guy he's playing against just for the last 20 seasons in a row, maybe not now so much. If he wants to be talked about in a Matthew Stafford realm, it's time for him to kind of get on these big stages and let everybody know who's boss.
Yeah, if he can take care of business and beat the Steelers, a good Steelers football team, that'll definitely put him on the map and on that trajectory. So,
the other interesting thing is, I don't think Aaron Rodgers necessarily likes the fact that he's not in those conversations anymore. So let's see if the old dog got a little something in the tank.
Oh, he's got it in the tank, but let's see. It's the supporting staff that will be the difference. I really hope, for personal reasons, that the Chargers get their running game going. We could really.
You got a certain running back on your fantasy team, do you?
Yeah, and my running backs last week just absolutely killed me. I still got the dub, but man, it was a rough week from my running backs. So I'm hoping they can get the running game going. I'd like to see the Chargers, kind of take that next step to being one of the elite teams, and I hope they take care of business. I'd like to see them win. I'd like to see Herbert win. A good Oregon guy, Oregon born and raised, and Oregon Duck guy. So hopefully the Chargers can figure this out.
My only concern with Justin is I've seen him with his pretty model girlfriend or whatever at a lot of Laker games and Dodger playoff games, and I hope he's reading that playbook as much time as he's spending with her. He can worry about her in the offseason.
He'll be just fine. The guy's been in the program for years. He knows the playbook. You got to have a life outside of football.
Yeah, that starts in February 7th or whatever it is. Then you can have until July.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now, if I lived in LA and played for the Chargers and the Dodgers were in the World Series, I'm finding my way to a Dodgers game.
And walking around with Madison Beer or whatever her name is.
That doesn't hurt.
No, there's worse things in life. And, he's living the life that the quarterback of the Los Angeles football team should be doing. So good for him.
Yes. All right, let's finish up the week. We got a really good Monday Night Football game. Eagles-Packers.
Yeah, this is just a banger, isn't it?
Let's just hope the Packers wear real uniforms. No more of these throwbacks. Let's get back to the gold and the white and the green. Come on.
Honestly, sometimes I was like, I think I was watching that on Red Zone, and they would flip back to that game, and I'm like, who the hell, which team is that? I had to look at the scoreboard. I was like, who's that?
I did like their helmets though. I thought that wrap and kind of that old school wrap on the helmet was pretty cool. That was creative. But
who is the NFL equipment is this year? Is it Nike? Is it Adidas? Do you remember?
It's Nike.
It's Nike. All right. Well, that explains a lot. Yes. Okay. This is a phenomenal football game. One that I will certainly not be betting on. The Packers suffered a huge loss last week. Tucker Kraft was the most explosive tight end in football this year. I should know because he was my tight end on my fantasy football team. So I will be shopping for a free agent on ad drops tonight. that's a big hole to fill because he really was. I mean, they've got plenty of talent, don't get me wrong, but he was doing a lot of good things. And I'm not touching this game. I'm hoping for a really good football game to watch.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, everyone, when you talk about the Eagles, you talk about the tush push. I'm interested to see if the Packers come up with a way to stop it, because I think the Packers losing Kraft is a huge blow to that team. And I want to see if Micah Parsons has a way to stop this tush push play. So,
yeah, I don't think Mike is. I mean, he's an outside edge rusher, which is, this is obviously about getting leverage in the A gap. Look, this tush push thing's going to be a thing for a while. You either love it or you hate it. I just hope the referees focus on two things. A, they got to make sure that center's head is behind the football and not over it, because they've been cheating like a foot. And the other thing is the guards have definitely been firing early. And I know they're working on a timing play. I'm sure they have some kind of a silent count where, they know that if they're meant to be going on 3, let's say, the guards are definitely timing it and they're going at 2 and 2.75. And you can see that they are definitely getting a head start on the rest. But it's timed so well that it's very hard to call that. So, like I said, A, I hope it's officiated correctly, and B, if you keep them at 4th and 5, they can't tush push. So that's the other thing you can say about it.
yeah, but they can go 3rd and 5, and they'll tush push for 3, and then they tush push again on 4th and 2, get 3 more, and get your first down. I mean, that's why I don't like the play, but whatever.
Well, then I guess
so who are you
going to
pick?
To 3rd and 8 then.
Let's get a pick in this game. So, do you give the Packers the edge because they're at home? I don't know. It's a tough one.
I'm going to say this. I think the Packers. I'm going to take the Packers, and I think Christian Watson is still the best wide receiver on that football team, and I think he's healthy. He's had a couple games now where he's played 30, 40, 50% of the snaps. I think they turn him loose this weekend, especially since Tucker Kraft goes out. So really all they're going to do is, instead of running, double tight ends with 2 wide receivers, and Kraft was essentially your 3rd wide out, they're just going to run trips all night. So I would expect Watson to be on the field. You're basically running the same play. You're just running the route out of the slot as opposed to out of the tight end. So I would expect this. I think Watson shows up, and he's going to have a big game. And I think Matthew Golden's been quiet for a number of weeks. And I think those guys are going to need to step up along with Romeo Doubs. And Jacobs has been phenomenal running the football. So I'm going to take the Packers at home. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles. I think on a national stage, Monday Night Football, I think they want to show everybody why they should still be considered the Super Bowl contenders. They're defending Super Bowl champions, first place in the NFC. I think they're going to go out and kind of try to make a statement in this game. And I just think the Packers losing Kraft is a big blow to that offense. And I think it might take a week or so for everyone to kind of slide into their new slots. But maybe Musgrave has a big game for the Pack. I don't know. But I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. I think it's going to be a great football game. I hope it comes down to a last-second field goal. Thanks for listening to Lineups and Lures. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate, like, and share the podcast. It helps us reach more fans, more anglers, and more stories worth telling. We'll see you next time, whether it's out on the field or out on the water.